Hi, everyone. Welcome to 19 Days of June. It's this little 19-day free live stream on mindfulness that I really, really wanted to bring and to do here. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, this is happening real time on YouTube Live. So, for those of you who are joining on the YouTube, um, thank you for joining. And to introduce what 19 Days of June is like, or what it will be, I have to explain where it came from first. So it came from this realization that, once upon a time, I was really, really, really practiced in a consistent mindfulness or meditation practice every morning. And I really enjoyed that. It was also during it was set up in times of my life where I felt like I really needed it. It wasn't this grasping energy, but it was I'm just going to go for everything that I can possibly do that's going to help me and support me because this is what I really need. So that's where my meditation practice set up originally. And I've realized that I am not doing that as consistently because I am busy and life has just continued to get busier and busier. And I know that that is the case for a lot of people. So this 19 days of June is a practice for us all. It's not going to be a long live stream each day, but it is going to be a consistent live stream each day for those 19 days to allow us to pause. I'll talk a little bit about mindfulness because that's what I teach, but it will allow us to pause and actually practice something. And not every practice on every day is going to be your favorite. It's not going to be anything too complicated, but you're just going to resonate with differently with different ones than others. And each person is going to have that different experience. So that is okay. Um, so that's really where it came from. That's what we're doing here. These are going to live in perpetuity, obviously, as videos that you can stream or as podcasts on the Get Jashed podcast that you can listen to at any stage as well. So it will be available. It was just this opportunity to really practice. And June is my favorite month to celebrate. We end on the 19th of June, which is my birthday, which is it's just fun. But also June is my biz birthday in terms of when I rebranded and really became what we are here now at J-Leigh. So this year will be the fourth birthday of that. Yep, because it was a 2020 rebrand. So this will be the fourth birthday of that. So it's just fun to kind of mark it. Before I continue, I've been dealing with a cough all week and it is still lingering in a way that I didn't think it would be as much by now. So I just wanted to name it because if I go quiet or if I take an extra breath, it's because I can feel the strain of talking a lot. So this is going to be good because it's going to keep me to schedule. But I just wanted to name it just in case I have to clear my throat or anything like that. It's not a tick. It's just literally something that I need to do. So everything's fine. But just in case that helps to remove that distraction piece for you as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jess Jash. I am the owner of J-Leigh. I am predominantly what it all bundles up into. I'm an embodied leadership coach and trainer. So I specialize in embodiment practices and how we lead ourselves and how we lead others. So that blends my background in corporate communication, in C-suite leadership, and that knowledge and education around nervous system regulation or dysregulation or awareness and emotional awareness and stress management. So there's a whole story of how that came about, but that is what I do. And that is why we are doing what we're doing here to, again, just address whatever you do for work, for a vocation, for life, for your life right now. If you feel like you are too busy or a really busy human, we are all in this together right now. We are all doing this together right now. So that was the intention of these live streams is and this mindfulness practices to show that yes, this is something that I teach and coach on. I work one on one with various humans. I hold one on one facilitate VIP days, like in person facilitation. I deliver my Embodied Leaders Academy to workplace groups, training them on aspects of leadership, but really grounding into the emotional intelligence and the communication and awareness of our stress, everything. So that's where that comes from, but also to do this with you because we are all busy. We are all seemingly getting busier and busier. So here we are. Anyway, that's all to say. Excuse me. That's all to say. Today, I wanted to start on a really basic level. And I say basic because I don't want to say simple, or I definitely don't want to say easy, put it that way. So, while what we are talking about might be basic or simple in theory, it doesn't mean it's always easy. Sometimes it's really hard to grasp, especially when it comes to mindfulness. There's a lot of confusion about what mindfulness is, what it is not, and a lot of the work I do, whether it's working with soldiers or with corporate professionals, people in that kind of environment, and anywhere in between, the the main thing, the most common thing that comes up when I am teaching them about mindfulness and meditation and either teaching them the theory of it or taking them through the practice of it or bridging the gap in between is the most common element that shows up for anyone in any of these environments is I'm doing it wrong because my brain won't shut up. If you have ever experienced that yourself, if you're in the chat, you can let me know. But you may just resonate with that of, oh, well, my brain is so busy and it seems to get busier whenever I do slow down. So why would I do it? Because we've been fed this idea that meditation is about clearing your mind and emptying your thoughts and having nothing going on. And that's just not how our brains are designed to work. The way I see it and the way, our brains work is that we need to take these moments, these pauses where we're not trying to actively do anything. We're not in thinking, we're not in active doing anything for our brain to process what it needs to. And we can't just leave it until we are, trying to go to sleep for that to be the only time our brain has that time to process what it needs to process. All the information that is coming our way, all of the thoughts, all of the whatevers, right? That's going to mess with our sleep. And B, we're not really doing ourselves a justice and our brains are going to get tighter and tighter. I call it the brain squeezies. Um, you may experience it as a different sensation, but the brain squeezies is where I just feel like there's compression and it's like, oh, I'm trying to focus on and think too much and I haven't just paused and stared at a wall for a moment. So with that common experience that people have this pressure on themselves to um, empty their thoughts, and then when they do pause and all they're doing is thinking thoughts or having thoughts come at them and they're like, that's the weirdest thought ever, what the hell, I'm doing this wrong, what is happening, that's okay. It's going to be like that sometimes. I can't tell you the amount of times it's been like that for me, even when I was doing my regular daily long meditation practices. Sometimes I would go longer if I had the freedom of time on that particular day because I felt like my thoughts were too busy. I'm like, oh, it's not working. It's not working. And that's when I really learned. That was way back, but that's when I really learned and it clicked. I'm like, oh, it's not about actually getting to that point, because as soon as I got up and got into my day and started uh, making my breakfast, I actually felt the decompression then, not during. So it will be a different experience from time to time. And sometimes that's going to be the experience where you just need to kind of trust the I hate saying that, but trust the process and just or let's find a better way to say that. You need to allow the process and just know that you can't be doing it wrong if you are allowing the process. So, with that, today's practice, we're going to keep it very, very simple. I said simple, not easy. Sometimes it's going to be challenging for some people, depending on what's going on for you, where you're at. So, we're going to work with some very simple things that you can do in any moment, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, where you don't need to close your eyes. You don't need to set up this fancy ritualistic space, even though, I love a bit of that from time to time, but it's not realistic every day. But we're just going to work with some simple things that you can do in the moment while you were doing something else, while you were making your coffee, while you were driving to work or to wherever, while you are doing something that doesn't actually distract you from that thing, especially if it's driving, right? So, first of all, we're working with just noticing sensations that are. We're not even closing our eyes. We're not even really doing like a breath work activity here. We're just noticing sensations as they are. So, there's two things. I needed to order them in my head for a moment. There's two things we're going to do. One is you could literally squeeze your arms and legs. This is called anchoring in. I start with this because even though these practices we're going to be doing are very simple, I don't know what's going on for you or what you might be going through or where you're at, and I can't know that in this format. So I want to make sure that you know ways that you can ground in if something feels overwhelming, if that's where you're at. This is not designed to quote unquote fix any of those things, but really just allowing yourself to take this at your own pace. Even though it's not going to be extreme, I don't know what's going on for you. So you choose, you discern that. So, first of all, one thing you can do is just squeeze your arms and legs. You might take a deep breath in and out. That might be something that you do. Squeeze arms and legs, maybe your body, maybe wrap your arms across, give yourself that hug feeling, whatever it is, with a few deep breaths. I'm not cueing those breaths, but really just noticing what that is. Then, or in any particular order or one or the other, if we're sort of talking about how mindfulness makes us go, oh, there's so many thoughts and how do I just get there? Instead of sitting down and just trying to be quiet for a moment and closing your eyes and doing the thing, for a moment, I want you to just notice if you are sitting, notice if you can the sensation of maybe the seat underneath you or behind your back. If you don't have a lot of sensation there at this point in time, notice where you do have sensation. Maybe on your skin, the air or your clothes touching your skin. Just noticing sensation of things in your immediate environment. And then you don't even have to close your eyes. If they're closed, great. You choose, you do you. But if you have sight, noticing color that you can see around you. Just noticing this is the practice of going from one to the next to the next. So the color that stood out for me immediately is because I looked at a plant that's right there. So it's green. So I went, cool, green. Where else is green? Up there, green. Oh, there's green there. Just notice that. Oh, there's green there. Oh, there's green over there on the tissue box. Oh, there's green on that thing there. So just noticing. And just keep going. You don't have to stick with one color, but just notice where there is color. Just picking one to the next, 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 to the next. Not frantically, just a few things you can see. I'm just naming them, going, oh, color. Oh, plant. Green plant. Pink skirt in that photo. Whatever it is. Just identifying things around you. If you don't have sight, but you can hear, maybe identifying sounds in the same way. You're not sort of getting stuck on them or creating a story or trying to figure them out. You're just going, oh, whippersnipper in the distance. Oh, power tool. It's Saturday morning here, so people are doing things. Vacuum cleaner. There's a dog. Things you can hear or things you can see, or both. I'm just doing that for a moment longer. And you can keep doing that, but it doesn't have to be this long process. It gets to be just this moment where you pause and look around and just identify a couple of things. It is that simple. Mindfulness is not a trick, it's not a hack, it's not anything fancy. Actually, it's sometimes so simple that it is so difficult because when things are happening, our brains want to go to all the complicated ways it could possibly, again, quote unquote, solve something or, do something for us. And often it's the most simple thing that will actually help us and support us. Not always, but often, as at least as a start. So that's what we're doing today. That's all we're doing today. I just wanted to introduce it and then introduce this just awareness, this naming without going, oh, there's all these things. It's what if I just pause for a moment? Where is my body in the seat? Or where are my feet on the ground? Or how are my clothes on my skin? And then just naming a few things that you can identify with your senses that you have available to you. So I'm going to wrap it up there, just so I can make sure that this stays on time for us all, because they're not intended to be long sessions that you have to buy in a lot of time with. It gets to be just moments, just these shorter practices, and that is all that is. And you can practice this throughout the day until tomorrow for our next session, or ongoing if this works for you. These can be built upon each other, or they can work, in isolation of each other, whatever that is. So we'll leave it there. I will see you guys tomorrow. As I mentioned, I do work one-on-one with people in a coaching capacity or in more one-off somatic sessions or VIP days. And you don't have to be a certain role or rank as a leader in order for this work to work for you. It really just depends. So I'm going to include my booking link. If you are interested, you can book a free call to just find out more about that, and we can find out if that suits you. I do have a few spaces available, but beyond that, I will see you guys again tomorrow, and we'll just keep layering on our mindfulness from there.